Hey, it's Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe. And I want to remind you, I work for you guys. So watching this video, if you have a question about anything I'm going to talk about or anything that I haven't talked about for players or coaches, please let me know. I love working with fans and getting you guys the questions answered that you have the most. So as always, let's start with the injury report for today. And there's a lot of changes, so you will want to pay attention, all right? So linebacker Shaq Thompson, he's been out dealing with a foot injury. He did not practice today, so there's no surprises there. But here's the next one that is a surprise for you. Running back Christian McCaffrey, he did not practice today. Now, normally he's been limited in practice. Today was a did not practice. So there seems to be, because of the change in status, a setback there. What that could be, we don't know. Will he play Sunday? I don't know. We weren't able to talk to Coach Rule, so we can only have speculation at this point that the 50-50 that Christian McCaffrey said to be earlier may be not the case. But again, just reporting what we know as of this as of this point. Otherwise, we have cornerback C.J. Henderson. He was limited in practice today with a shoulder, and this is a new addition linebacker, Kamal Martin. He had a concussion, and he did not practice today. Now, let's go over some transactions that we have made, and we had to make some due to some injuries that we had on the Carolina Panthers team. So those transactions, we placed punter Joseph Charlton, on IR due to his back. And Chase Blackburn came to us. He's a special teams coordinator and said that it was something that started yesterday. He's had troubles with his back in the past, and whatever happened recently as of yesterday just really put him into this situation where they are in now, where they had to place him on the IR. And that means that he's going to be out for at least 3 weeks. So in his place, not yet on the active roster, but we put him on the practice squad, that is punter Ryan Winslow. And let me tell you a little bit about Ryan Winslow. I like to, whenever I have a chance, get some research about guys coming, even if they're in the practice squad. But again, this guy, you can look forward to him being on the field behind me this Sunday punting for the Carolina Panthers. So Winslow came from, he's an undrafted free agent, first signed by the Chicago Bears, and he's been around a lot. So he's initially signed with the Bears, spent some time with the AFL, spent some time with the Cardinals, went to the Green Bay Packers, then went back to the Cardinals, and then was a free agent. And then the Carolina Panthers signed him to their practice squad today. Now, it's always interesting to find out what people were doing when they first got the call or notification that they were going to be coming out here. What was Ryan doing? Well, he was working as a salesman. I forget if he said for his uncle. I believe it was his uncle in Philadelphia, and had to send him a text saying, hey, got an opportunity, won't be in, but I will talk to you later. And ironically, he's not even told him that he's been signed yet. So obviously at this point, Uncle's probably found out that Ryan's been signed and will not be at work, not only this week, but probably for a few more weeks. Now on to Chase Blackburn, which I mentioned earlier, we talked to today, special teams coordinator. What happened with that block punt on Sunday? Now he said that he takes a lot of responsibility for it, and what he was calling, execution wasn't as sharp as it needed to be, but mentioned that the guys have a responsibility in that protection where they're going to be going straight back. And he said they got a little wide in their protection, meaning they were out, and they didn't go exactly straight back like they were supposed to, given the opportunity for that punt to be blocked, and it was blocked. Now, with Zane as our kicker for kicking off, I had talked before that, didn't like the fact that he wasn't able to kick the ball in the end zone and get touchbacks. And it happened for 1 week, and then suddenly it changed. And so today we got a chance to ask, hey, what happened exactly to get him to kicking the ball a little bit deeper? And Chase simply said they changed his footwork. They went to 5 steps so that he could have a little bit more momentum, a little bit better drive in kicking the ball, and has been successful in getting touchbacks. So there you have it, a very simple correction that has allowed him to be a much more effective kickoff guy for us. And also, I got to look at my notes here. That's pretty much it from Chase Blackburn. Now, we also got a chance to talk to Ryan Winslow, which again, he's on the practice squad, but will, unless something, who knows what happens, he will be our kicker on this Sunday. I asked him what were you doing during this time since you were a free agent? Obviously he was working with his uncle at the cell shop, but what were you doing to keep yourself in shape for kicking? So he said he spent about 3 days a week. He would go to his local high school, get out there and kick some balls. He'd also still go to the gym and get some training there. And just, he's been around for a while, wanting this opportunity. So he did that kind of routine to keep himself sharp. So we'll see just how good he has been keeping himself in shape come this upcoming Sunday. Next up, we had two more guys. So Cam Irving, we were able to talk to. Sorry for scratching my neck so much, but there's something biting me while I'm talking to you guys. Cam Irvin's been dealing with a neck injury. He wasn't on the injury report, so it's looking like he's going to go this Sunday. Cam, what about the woes that the team has been having? Those are my words, saying woes for the offensive line. He says they're very well aware that they need to do a better job in protecting Sam Darnold back there. Not as an excuse, but since one of the challenges with an offensive line is it bodes well when you're able to have that continuity, when you're able to have the same five guys from training camp and through. Now, granted, he's saying he knows it's a dream to not have any changes to it, but they have had a lot of changes with John Miller going out with COVID, with the injuries last week that caused Taylor Moton to switch over to the left-hand side from the right-hand side. It says what happens is there's a lot of communication that these guys will do at the line, which to talk to each other, but not to give away what's going on. And when you change the dynamics of that five guys that's up there, then it changes the way that you're able to communicate and work together. So hopefully, again, they're saying they still, even with that, it's an NFL next man up. They know they have to overcome those things, and will continue to do so to work to overcome that. Last but not least, Byrne, Spider-Man, spent some time talking with the media today. Now, what about those losses? Do you just forget those? No, you don't forget them. Byrne, you don't forget those losses. Now, you move on, but you want to learn from it. You want to learn from the losses and get better. And he agrees. Coach mentioned that, Matt Rule mentioned, hey, if we have a lead and our defense doesn't help hold that lead, then that's a problem. We have a good enough defense to maintain that lead. Byrne says, hey, I have no problems with Coach saying that, and he agrees with it. If the team has a lead, they have the good enough guys where they should be able to hold that lead until there's a W on the board. Furthermore, he mentioned that a goal of the defense, one of the edges that they want to have is fourth quarter shutouts. We have, and this is Brian, we have good enough players that we should be able to have a shutout in the fourth quarter. So that's something that they're working on. And what about Brian Burns, who has not had the sack production that Hassan Reddick continues to have each week? Past couple weeks, I don't know his exact stat off the top of my head, but I believe he hasn't not had any sacks. Said that, teams are doing stuff different to him. He's talked with the coach about it, and he just needs to get better at working through it. So what have been those things that they have been doing differently with Brian Burns or against Brian Burns? Well, one of the things he says, putting a tight end over top of it. There have been cutting him. There have been back chips. And I said, well, what about putting a tight end over top of you? What does that change? What does that do? And he said, it's just stuff to throw him off. Same things that defenses do to go to confuse a quarterback, they can do to certain players on the defense that they know keys in on rushing the quarterback to slow him down, because there's a different evaluation, there's a different thought process that he has to be aware of when there's a tight end over him versus a different guy at a different position. So practice this week, Coach Rule told us yesterday, was one of the best practices. It was the best practice since he's been here with the Carolina Panthers. Brian said that the practice was really good yesterday, and he's seeing an edge from these guys. And I said, is that an edge? Can you tell me a little bit more? Is that something in the locker room with guys talking? Is it on the field? He said it was on the practice field that he's seeing that edge from players that he hasn't seen much before, and he doesn't kind of know why it got back. He said, I don't know, maybe we got complacent, who knows, but I'm glad that it's back. And went on to say that the practice they had the other day was more contact. Now, he said, no, they can't go full on contact like they do out here on the Sunday. Out here on the Sunday, they're trying to take a guy down. They're trying to impose their will as much as possible. Now, they don't do that when they have the full contact that we talked about in practice the other day. He said it's still, you're hitting. It's still good to go up against a really good guy on the other side like Taylor Moton and just really hone in on your skills. but you're still doing it with a lot of respect for the other guy. You're not trying to take him down. You're not trying to finish him off as you would here on the game field on the Sunday. And maybe that'll be something that they can continue to do. I know there's some NFL restrictions on the Players Association about how many times they can have those types of practices. But from what I've been hearing, the players have loved it. So something to see, something to ask Coach Rule about. He'll maximize and do those types of practices as much as he can. So, hey, thank you for watching. If you're still watching at this point, you certainly are enjoying what I'm saying. So I hope that you do me a favor. Hit that like button. It's the best way to help me grow. Cost you nothing. Helps me do what I love to do, and that's interview players, coaches, and get you all the information that you're seeking, all right? Also hit those bell notifications because we go live a lot of times for the purpose of interaction, okay? If you don't have that notification checked, you won't get the notification that I'm live. You won't be able to interact. So consider doing it, all right? Hey, Chris Jenkins reporting from Bank of America Stadium.